Good.
Okay, guys, we're gonna go ahead and get started.
No.
Jody's in the house.
How are you guys?
Good.
Doing okay today? Everybody all right?
Just so excited.
Yay!
You hear about Moodle testing?
That's right. Trying to learn something new. We're gonna try. I'll go ahead and pray for us and we'll get started. Father, thank you for meeting us here today and each day of our lives. We just thank you for who you are to us and all that you do for us. And I just want to pray, especially right now, for the needs that are represented in this room, whether we know about them or not. Father, we just thank you for who you are and how you're going to minister to those needs according to your will. And I just pray for grace and peace on each person and needs that are represented. Be with us today as we learn hopefully something new about Moodle and help us to be able to learn from one another in Jesus' name. Okay, I want to welcome you guys to Moodle Logs and Reports to Track Student Usage. This is probably one of the shorter trainings. It's a nice, reasonably small topic, but as is typically the case when I'm preparing for one of these trainings, I generally learn something new. So I'll be surprised if everybody knows the one thing that I learned new. So I'll let you know when that time comes. We'll see. I know at least one of you does because I've
Because
already
you
talked
showed
to
me,
you.
I love it.
Exactly. And it really is
I
pretty
didn't
cool.
know.
So the first thing I'd like for you guys to do, well, that's not the first thing I'd like for you to do. If you want to view this presentation later, or if you're watching this recorded later, you can access the presentation to print off or look at or follow along, whatever you'd like. And the last part of that address is a lowercase o, capital S, lowercase p, H65. So sometimes that's a little difficult to read on the screen if you're watching the recording. So the first thing now that I want you to do is maybe talk to the person next to you or somebody around you and come up with some ideas, some times that you might need to use the functionality of this. If you don't know the functionality of Moodle Logs or what we're even talking about, ask the person next to you. So take a minute or two and visit about that, and then I'll give you guys an opportunity to share.
Like when they say that they turn in the paper, oh, we're doing my homework. I'm like, did you even
Yeah.
sign?
Well, I couldn't even get into my class. Yeah. Was working down what they did. So I stopped there for a lot. You guys see what there's actually in the class Monday at 9:30 for 18 minutes. Tuesday at 10:43 at night.
There's some things that I use to check and see.
And when I start that,
Check and see.
yeah, so when I start that, oh, they shut
Because I
me
had a student
down.
just turn around.
Yeah.
I had a
So I
student
use
that
it for that.
made the same mistake 4 times in a row.
Oh.
I went back and realized I marked it every time, multiple things.
Yeah.
And she had never even looked at the feedback, even though it was giving her C's and D's for how to follow instructions. So I gave her a 0 on the last one, so I'm like, I'm done. I've been marking this, it's clear the syllabus, we're supposed to do it this way. You haven't been all set.
Well, I know that some years ago, the
I did start for that.
Yes.
And so they would call it.
I'll put clear here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, the first week, you know, decided they didn't want to do it.
Okay, maybe about 15 more seconds or so. Okay, you guys didn't even take 15 more seconds to finish, so thank you. So who would like to share? When is a time, something that you talked about in your group? I'll just say, Tara shared, I asked her the question, she said, like I did yesterday when a student was claiming they had attempted to turn in an assignment, but Moodle ate it, which I think I also heard said in the room today. I was able to see she did not. And then Lou also said, as you mentioned in your information, students often have questions about availability or uploads, and this is a good tool to use. So somebody want to share something? Or did Tara steal everybody's thunder? Is this the only reason you would want to do that?
I was telling Sheila that one of the things that I learned that you can actually do recently is you can actually go in and see which assignments they've been in. Because I had a student that showed me an email confirmation that she got that she turned in her assignment, but it wasn't where it needed to be. So rather than going and hunting every single
Got
week and seeing where she accidentally turned it in, I was able to go in and see where she's at and go find the assignment.
Right, right.
That's good.
That is one of the nice things about this is that you can zero down to the student and see the clicks that they've made and where they've been. You can check it for all the days that the course has been available or even prior to that. Not that they could be in if it's not available, but you can choose a specific date. You can choose a specific assignment. You've got lots and lots of options for pulling these up. Somebody else have something that you want to share, a time that you would use it?
This is slightly different, but if you're using the turn it in stuff, you can tell if they looked at the feedback.
Oh, exactly. And that's actually in a different place. So if you'll remind me, we'll talk about that. And I'll show you guys where you can do that, where you can see if they've looked at the feedback.
Well, this has never actually happened, but theoretically, if I had a student that said, I can't get into my course, Moodle won't let me in,
Mm-hmm.
I can go in and say, seems to me that on Monday night at 9:13 you can log in, and again on Wednesday at 2:42 in the morning. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
because they do occasionally say, I couldn't get to it, and I can say, yeah, you could.
Absolutely. One of the things that I don't want to forget to mention, and you may not have realized this, but Moodle will actually show you the IP address that they're from. And there's a website. If you look for all one word, who is on Google, that's the website. I think is like whois.net or whois.org or something like that. You can put in an IP address and it'll tell you where the IP address is from. So if there's something kind of funny going on, if you're concerned about cheating or something like that, and you look and you see like that their IP address is not indeed in the United States, I looked at one today and actually traced an IP address where it went. And so it said it was actually somebody here in the city, but it shows that it comes out of Jinx, but it was Cox Communication was the IP address. And it went through, it was kind of odd to me, it went through Falls Church, Virginia. I wonder who would be watching anything that I'm doing on the internet out of Falls Church, Virginia. NSA maybe, I don't know. Hopefully they're not listening right now. And so then it like made this trip all the way back around to Colorado or something. So it has to do with like the routing. So that's not an infallible thing where you can go, well, you're not here, because I know this student and I know they're using something in Oklahoma City and it showed they were in Jinx, Oklahoma. But at least I know they're in the state. If it says that their IP address is in the Philippines or something, then probably that's not that student actually doing that work unless you know that they're in the Philippines. So it will actually show you that, so you can use some internet resources for that. Yes, okay, I will show you guys that. I think, Terry, you're talking about the turn it in thing. So, and repeating the comment, sorry, Lou, I didn't see this earlier. What was said was you can look to see if students have viewed feedback on turnitin.com. Viewed your feedback on their paper and turn it in. So I'll show you guys how to do that. Anybody else want to share something? If not, we'll move on. Okay, so we've talked about our rationale, and so basically what I did, I hadn't really even intended on pulling up a Moodle course. I can do that though, because I want to show you where to look for that turnitin.com feedback, where you can see that they've viewed your feedback. So I'll do that in a little bit. But this is the very first thing. If you're looking under course administration and you go to reports, there's the drop-down menu. And the very first drop-down, which I've never used until doing this training, but I wanted to know what all of the clicks did. I I clicked on the dashboard. So this kind of gives you just an overall view by date and by assignment type. So the days that students are, so the first one there, the recent activity, I know for you guys in the back, on the back row, which is pretty much everybody, is hard to see what the dates are, but it looks like there was about 750 activity things happening in this course, which this is actually the astronomy course that I'm teaching right now on March the 30th. And so as we approach the weekend, not surprisingly, those clicks are beginning to go up. We're approaching almost 500 clicks today. So it's really just telling you activity in the course. Basically, it's counting clicks, I think, is my understanding for that. And so it gives you date, and it looks like it goes back about maybe a week or so, something like that. So that's probably going to show you the last week. And then forum post, it's showing the number of posts on that. First one is the forum that's due this week. So it's already got about 12 posts, so maybe half the class. And then the other one is showing less. I don't know if that's during the last week or not, because I know for a fact there are more than 12 posts on that or more than 14 posts on that very first forum. So that's probably a time. And let me make sure on my information that I looked here, I did not see the information about the dashboard, so a little incomplete on
Any
this.
initial posts on those forums?
Well, that's what I wondered, but there are 23 students in that class, 22 students, I think. And so there should be at least 20, because there's maybe one student that didn't post in that first forum, I think.
Well,
So-
the top it says for the past 7 days.
Oh, thank you.
With that.
Yeah, that would be helpful if I read the top. That could be helpful. Thank you, Laura, for keeping me on track. Yeah, so for the past 7 days. Thank you. I do appreciate that. So quiz submissions, you can look and see how many people have submitted in the last 7 days. And then assignment submissions, there's no data to display because in this particular course, students are actually mailing or they're dropping off groups of assignments by hand, which there's another forum we can talk about that if you don't like that. So.
This is really interesting because one of the things is that as we were talking about how have you used it, I've used it as a punitive tool.
Right.
I hate to admit that.
No, I mean,
And so I'm thinking, how can I use it positively? And it occurs to me that one thing I could do is say to my students, I see that most of you are waiting until Wednesday or Thursday to
Right.
log in or whatever, and I want you to know that this coming week that you've got activities coming that you need to be aware of. It's going to take more time, so be sure you log in earlier. So that helps a lot. I like that.
and to get to this, once you're in your course, it's literally 2 clicks. You click on the reports, it brings up about 5 different things to click on, and the very first one is the dashboard. You click that one, and this is what you'll see on the entire screen. I tried to get the whole screenshot. So that's the dashboard. Any questions about the dashboard at all? Pretty straightforward. That is kind of nice to know, to see that my students, most of the work that's being done is probably being done on Sunday. And so maybe as a course designer, when you're piloting a course, if that's not the way that you were hoping the students would do that, maybe before that second time you look at this and you can see I need to change my due dates and make some things due throughout the week because I want them to engage with the material more than just once a week, which this course is very important that you engage with the material more than once a week. Let me flip back over here to my chat and see. Okay, yeah, so Tara, you're right. So the 7 days thing, I was having that problem too. Okay, the next one down from the dashboard is the logs. And I'll just talk you through what I chose before I clicked get these logs. So the very first drop-down menu there is the course menu. If I wanted to look at a group of students, these students are in groups that are named after different planets. So I could have looked at the Mars group, the Saturn group, the Jupiter group, or the Mercury group.
Not Pluto.
Purposely, actually, I just saw this week that Pluto was accepted as a planet again, but that's a whole nother story. Crazy stuff. And so I could look at just a group of students. I chose to look at all participants. You can choose a single student. You can choose any day that there's been activity on the course. And in this particular case, I'm looking just at the online astronomy syllabus. I want to see who looked at the syllabus. This is one way that I can do that, because how many of you have students that ask you questions that are answered in the syllabus? Multiple times, right? Okay, I'll show you something later. It's the new thing that I learned that is just fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. I would encourage you to do it the first week of every course that you teach, even if it's a face-to-face course. So don't let me, well, I won't forget because I've got a whole slide about it. Yeah, it is a teaser, isn't it? It's super exciting. Don't go away. Don't tune out yet. And so you can see on the action, you can actually choose different actions. If you're looking at an assignment, you can see who submitted it, or you can see who viewed it. In this case, I've chosen all actions. Actually, what Moodle calls it is either view or post. So if they viewed, they clicked on it, they looked at it. If they posted, they submitted the assignment, they viewed feedback. I think that counts as actually posting. So it gives you, if you choose an action, it'll tell you what the action means at the top. So, and I'm actually not teaching a class full of bacon. I think the rest of these actually look more like bacon, their usernames. I just blurred those for FERPA, in case you're watching this later. There's the IP address. You can just copy and paste that. And this 68.12.234.74, that's the one that I looked up. And that's the one that showed me it was in Jinx. But if you look at, I think the ones here on campus start with like 204 dot something. And so it'll say Bethany, Oklahoma, because I checked our IP address here. So, okay, so the next one under that, actually this is still on logs. So in this case, I'm just looking at a date. I'm looking at all students just on Sunday and what all the activities were. So I can see that this first student, Mr. Bacon, chose quiz. He viewed the quiz, he attempted the quiz, and he actually submitted it. He closed the attempt, and then he looked at the summary. And then he reviewed the quiz again, or he reviewed the quiz, looked at the quiz. So he saw what he did, or she, I don't remember who it is, but. And then on down here, this is actually me. So that was my IP address at the time. And it shows that I looked at the course. So that's the one that Sheila's talking about. Oh, I can see that you actually did log in here to the course. I don't know what you did. You may not have clicked on anything. You know, if somebody's saying, hey, I've done this, and all you can see is that they viewed the course, I'm not sure that I believe that you're actually clicking on something. So I would encourage you to take all of this information with a grain of salt, because as we've seen, there are so many different things on Moodle that nothing is set in stone. And I think this next one specifically talks about Turnitin, and I specifically put not infallible because our Turnitin / Moodle guru on campus told me it is not infallible. But this is actually from Tara's course. I want to make sure. Okay, make sure you guys aren't talking over there. So this is on Tara's course, and I'm looking specifically at this sample writing activity, which was due last week, and I knew that that was a Turnitin. And I'm just looking at Monday. And so I click Get These Logs, and I can see this particular student viewed this, and then this particular student actually submitted the writing sample. And what Michelle told me was this is not infallible. It generally records the click, but sometimes a student might say that they submitted it, but at least go and see that they've been into the assignment. The recording, the submission is not always foolproof, is what I'm trying to tell you. It's not set in stone. So the thing to remember about Turnitin specifically is Turnitin makes no money off of anything that they create for Moodle because Moodle's open source. So this thing that they've created called Turnitin Direct, it's a plugin for Moodle that we use. They don't get any money off of that. They're just doing it out of the goodness of their heart and to keep us as a customer. But as far as creating something for Moodle, it's kind of iffy sometimes as far as recording clicks. Questions about logs? Kind of went through that pretty quick.
How do you get to them? I'm sorry.
How do you get, no, that's okay. When you go to the front page of the course, under your course administration or your settings block, under reports, there should be about 5 on the left-hand side in the second block down. We'll say reports, you click that and there should be about 5 choices. There should be dashboard, logs, activity reports, course participation, and live, which I think is the next one that we're going to talk about, is live. Good question. What else? Other questions? Okay, so this is the live logs, and it shows you everything that is currently happening in the course. This actually brings up a pop-up window, and it shows you everything that's happened for the last hour. So while I was looking at the live logs in astronomy, I saw that a student, and maybe I didn't get, I think I took this screenshot before she logged in, but while I was sitting there looking at this, I saw that a student came into the course, and it updates automatically. You just leave that open and you can see who's in the course and what they're doing right now. It updates, like you'll have multiple things a minute. Every time they click something, it puts a new thing at the top. And so this goes in chronological order with newest at the top and oldest at the bottom. Won't show you anything older than an hour ago though. So if you know that maybe Turnitin's going to be down Saturday morning until 1 p.m. in the afternoon, and you know that your students get on there and you're worried that they're going to wig out. You go sit there, and when you see them on the course, you just shoot them a quick email right then. Hopefully they've got their email open, and you say, hey, Turnitin's not open, don't forget, you know, something like that.
That would really freak them out.
That really would freak them out, absolutely. But
They're always there.
I know, right? How do they know I'm even in the course? Omnipresent, somewhat.
You could say cute underwear too.
Yes, you could.
Maybe you shouldn't, Bob. That's a little
We really need to be retired.
That's a little old school.
Yeah.
Okay, so the key thing to remember on live logs is it's only within the last hour. It only shows you what's happening in the last hour. When I logged into this course, it had been about a half an hour until I got to this point in creating this. And so it only went back about 35 minutes or so because nothing was happening prior to that in the minutes before that for the hour. So questions about that? Sorry, I shouldn't give you a new slide until you answer those questions. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Activity reports. That'll be the next one down. So the first one is dashboard. The next one is logs. The next one is live. And the next one is activity reports. So on activity reports, it gives these to you in chunks of about 7 days, roughly 7 days. So this was the first chunk, actually not quite the whole first chunk that I can look at. And what it says right here is computed from logs since Thursday, April 24th, 2013 at 8:34 a.m. So for this chunk of information I'm looking at right here, it's only since April the 4th at 8:30. No, sorry, maybe that's when I opened it.
2013.
That's weird. Since 2013. So maybe it gives you information on the course over the last year. So it just looks back to the previous year and it gives it to you in 7-day increments. Sorry about that if I confused you. Okay, so basically what it's telling me is this was actually in a date range that went back to about the 30th of March. If I scrolled down the page, there would have been another section there, and I can show this to you guys once we stop recording so that you can actually see this. I've had 87 views of the course verification. Have no idea why we've had 87 views. Maybe they're just checking to make sure that they finished it and got, who knows. The syllabus, that's encouraging. I've had 171 views of the syllabus in about the last week. So that's a real positive thing. Students are using the syllabus. And so on. So basically with this, you're able to see how many times this has been viewed. Go ahead.
Is it possible if it's the last year that it's the syllabus of that course? So if there were multiple sections? 171 just seems, or even the verification, I don't know. Could it be adding together multiple
It
sections over
must
the
be,
last
because,
year?
I mean, they do go in and look at that verification multiple times
Yeah.
sometimes before they do it,
Yeah,
but
for
87
20 students.
sounds like a lot for.
I don't know. I mean, this course was created from a template, so there shouldn't be any
Yeah.
history prior to when I created it. So
You've got how many in there?
about 22 or 24.
Maybe.
I don't know. I mean, it does seem like a lot. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But I mean, at least you can
know
go
what
and
may
see.
explain that though, is that they may not know, okay, I've hounded them in the past to do verification.
They're looking to see if
And
they, if they.
Well, and I stopped because we're not counting
Yeah.
that, and so they may be going, what's this?
Yeah.
That could be
Yeah.
a
Right.
curiosity,
Yeah.
because they're just going, do I need to do this?
Tara said that she has an 8-person class and she has 363 views of the syllabus.
It's
So,
gotta be adding up.
well, I can tell you that one right there, her class,
It's comp.
is because she's the only person teaching it. I've been recycling that class.
Okay, so.
So
we
I
that
know
one-
that-
one
I know
is-
that explains that, but on the astronomy course, because it was recreated from the template. So it'd be interesting to go in and look at the logs,
Yeah.
look at the activity report on the template and see what it says. Who knows? Thanks for sharing that, Tara. She's very thankful that I'm recycling. That does make it a whole lot easier. You're welcome. Okay, next. And this is the one that I like the best, actually. This is the cool one. Course participation. So in this case, I'm looking at the online astronomy syllabus. I'm looking back 3 weeks. And the important box to note here is show only. You're looking at roles here. So you want to look at the students because you don't have managers. You don't care if there are category managers looking at your syllabus. At least I hope you don't care. You don't care if there are teachers looking at it, non-editing teachers. You want to see what the students are doing. And the default on this is manager because it's the first one. So you definitely want to change that show only box to student. And you want to show actions. In this case, I chose all actions and it's telling me what views mean. View means view, view all, and print. Post means updates. Well, if I had updated the syllabus or if I went and updated your syllabus and you're like, who changed this? You could actually go to the course participation and see who updated your syllabus without scrolling and scrolling and scrolling through the when did this happen kind of thing. You could just go right here, choose your syllabus, and choose book post and see who updated it very quickly. Not that I go in and change anything without knowing about it, usually.
And this is the next, like, it's dashboard logs, live activity report.
Correct.
This
I'm
is
just,
next.
I went
Okay.
from top going to the bottom. And I believe this is the last one on there is course participation. The one thing that I don't like about this is that you have to choose an assignment or an activity. You have to choose either an assignment or activity. You can't just very quickly look and see who's logged into the course. You must choose the syllabus or a page. You know, you've got a page called important module links or something like that. You've got to look and see at a specific activity or assignment. However, as the bonus to that, you can very easily, I went to Tara's course and I looked at the end of week journal for week 1. I looked back 3 weeks, I'm showing only students, and I can see that she has 1, 2, 3 students who have not submitted. I'm actually looking at show actions, I'm only looking at posts. So assignment post is upload, submit, and submit for grading. So they did one of those 3 things. And she has 1, 2, 3 people who didn't do that. I can click the box out next to the no by their name, and at the very bottom it says with selected users, send a message. You can send a message to those students very easily from here, rather than,
You haven't submitted this.
right, hey, by the way, guys, you didn't submit this, you probably should do that, or I just want to let you know that anything after this, it's 10% off per day, or whatever your late work policy is. You didn't submit and you're out of luck. I mean, if that's your late work policy, that's okay. But this is just a nice way to go send a message quickly to students who have not submitted an assignment. Maybe you do that the day before the assignment's due. I mean, if you're really on the ball. It's crazy talk. Say that again.
The number in parentheses, how many times I clicked into that?
It's actually
Upload, submit.
upload, submit, or submit for grading. So I suspect that this person right here may have edited their assignment, because probably she has that where they submit it. And you're going to have these things. I know that we normally say we don't have students click a submit button. We just have it automatically submit. So probably in this case, that student went back and edited their submission until they got it right. Maybe they started at the beginning of the week. Hey, I like the way this happened, and so I wrote some, and then I came and wrote some more later. I don't know.
What did it do it automatically? Because I filled up an assignment in my most recent. And all of them say 3.
All of them say 3?
I thought it meant that the student had uploaded the assignment. Is it
Well,
not that?
it depends on the type of assignment. If it's
It doesn't correlate to those 3 things up at the top of
No.
the assignment?
no, it's that every time they do one of those things, it counts it. So I'm viewing post.
Yeah.
So I'm not looking at when they click to view submission, or view
Right,
feedback.
but
I'm only
you're
looking at,
posts, so
right.
it's counting the upload, the submit, and the submit for grading. That's where the 3 comes from?
Not necessarily, because if you have your assignment set up where students don't click a submit button, then it would just be an upload or a submit when they do their online text box and click submit, or save my submission, I think is what it says.
I just changed it to post, and they all changed to once.
Okay. Yes, if you're viewing all actions, then there will be multiple ones. So that's a good point. Anything else? I'm checking my audience here. Oh, Tara says, yeah, that person is her overachiever. So, I mean, maybe that's a good way to go find your overachievers or your grade hounds. I shouldn't even say that out loud, especially not being recorded. But, I mean, you may have those students that are like, I submitted this 20 minutes ago, where's my grade? That could happen. Right. Right, and sometimes you have 6 emails from them in the first 15 minutes of the day. Right.
Because I don't like it.
If there was a button on there that said administer electric shock, cut all that stuff
It
out.
would, absolutely. I think we could sell that, Bob. We should talk. Let's talk after this.
After submission, minister elect.
Yeah. Right, after submission, administer electric shock. After 3 daily checks of the grade book, administer electric shock. I think that actually.
I
think we need to shock some that don't ever check your grade.
Right.
Look at your grade.
After-
these zeros.
After 5 successful logins of the course. Okay, I mean, that's it. That's all there is to logs, activity reports, course participation, etc. What questions do you guys have? Comments? Concerns? Just something useful. I really do think these people have not submitted this assignment. Send them a message is a nice functionality, because I don't know if you played with the personal learning designer. If they haven't submitted after this date, send them an email, and there's 62 emails that the student gets.
Right.
Now, I'm sure it's a box that I haven't checked correctly, but this is way easier because I get to decide when the email goes out. I want them to know I'm grading at 11:30 at night, maybe.
I do, I want them to know.
I do too. I'm working hard, exactly. I'm not doing this at 8 o'clock in the morning with coffee.
I had a student tell me they wished I wouldn't send emails so early in the morning because it made their phone beep and
They
woke
get
them up.
they get a
You
beat.
tell them they
Oh,
can
I'm
put their
Well.
phone
sorry.
on night, you know.
He said, are you seriously up at 6:30 in the morning?
Yes, and some before that.
Put your phone on.
That's me, I'm kind of a night owl.
Remind 101 and just send it all out at about 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, exactly.
Would you please review the if not submitted, please send message function? Sure. Let me go back here for just a second. So this is on the very last choice. It's the course participation choice, which is under reports. So on these students right here where it says no, no, and no, if you check this box, check this box, check this box, and then with the selected users, click that drop down and click send a message. It'll basically open the quick mail box with those students' names in it, and you can send them a message.
Nice.
You've got to click OK after that. I hope that makes sense, Lou. Other questions or comments? See, Lou's typing something. You're very welcome. Okay, so as a reminder, these reports are not infallible. They're probably not even admissible in court. Although, you know, depending on what's in it, you know, if it's an argument of, did you submit the Turnitin assignment? They say they submitted at 12:00. They say they submitted at 11:59, but it says 12:01 on your assignment. Well, their clock was probably wrong, because that probably, if it shows that they submitted it, the timestamp's probably going to be correct and the IP address is going to be correct. But if it shows they didn't actually click submit, that may or may not be true. So just be aware of that when you're using these. The feedback check, thank you. Let me go here and let me open up a course real quick. I knew I'd forget that. Okay, so what I'm going to show you guys is how to check and see if students have viewed feedback. And I'm going to stop. Oh, geez. Didn't intend to put all of those characters in there. Not sure I can get my password typed in correctly.
Because we're watching.
Yeah, it's because y'all are watching. Y'all all know my password is ... Okay, let me stop the recording.
1, 2, 3,